Today, we are diving deep into a topic that is super important for anyone looking to improve their English: writing. Whether you are emailing a client, or maybe drafting a school essay, or even just texting a friend, writing well can open doors and opportunities. But how to write better in English? Is it about grammar only? Or vocabulary? Stick around because in today's episode, I'm going to give you some valuable tips that will take your communication and writing in English to the next level. Hey everybody, how's it going? Thiago here, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Hope you're doing well, and if you're new here, I created this channel and podcast to help intermediate and advanced learners of English communicate with more confidence, more accuracy, more clarity, and more awareness. If this sounds like something you want for yourself in your English, subscribe to the channel and follow the show if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts so you don't miss a single new episode. Today we're going to talk all about English writing, and I'm going to give you some nice tips here. But before, I have a special announcement to give you. Guys, I'm super excited to announce that my newest course on pronunciation is already available for pre-sale. The main purpose of this course is to help you speak with more fluency, more fluidity, better flow, and of course, be able to better understand fast English when you watch movies, TV series, listen to podcasts, or even when you travel abroad and you have to speak to people there. The course is divided into two main areas of study: connected speech and the sounds of English. In the first area of study, I have there many lessons detailing each one of the most popular connected speech patterns that native speakers employ in their speech so that you can understand how those connections, how those reductions work, and also how you can implement them in your own speech. This knowledge will help you, again, better understand fast English, but also communicate with more flow. The second area of study in the course is the sounds of English. I have compiled the main sounds of the English language, the ones that I consider to be the most important for you to learn so that you can work on your pronunciation on a more individual level. Like I said, the course is already available on pre-sale at a very special discounted price. The content of the course will be released weekly, okay? So when you sign up, when you buy the course today, you already have access to week 1 of lessons and materials for you to start your pronunciation studies. 1 week later, you're going to receive a new lesson to work on, and that's how it works. The way I'm designing the course, it's going to have at least 20 video lessons all about pronunciation and connected speech. And since you are buying it now on pre-sale, I am offering this at a discounted price. A great thing for you to know is that once you buy the course, that's it. The course doesn't have an expiration date. You pay it once, and then you will have access to the course and all the future lessons and future updates I will be bringing to the course indefinitely. So this is a great opportunity for you to secure a very special discount on this course that I'm launching now, and at the same time support my work here on YouTube and also on this new project that I'm starting, this new pronunciation course. If you like the way I speak English, check out the course, because inside the course, I'm going to teach you everything I know about English pronunciation and connected speech. Again, at a very special price. Take advantage now since it's on pre-sale, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. By the way, to learn more about the course, the link is in the description of the video here on YouTube, also as a pinned comment down below, or if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, is in the show notes. Okay, now on to the main topic: writing. Guys, let's be honest. I know that for many people, writing isn't the most exciting skill to learn and develop. But hear me out. Writing well is like a superpower. It's true. It's like a superpower because it helps you express your thoughts clearly. It helps you persuade others and even build strong relationships. Think about it. A well-crafted email can land you a job interview, or a captivating story can connect you with people from all over the world. or even a persuasive essay can change someone's mind. So the great thing about writing is that it helps you develop your critical thinking. Many people want to speak English well. Many people want to speak English fluently. But if you want to speak well, first, you need to think effectively. And to think effectively, you need to write. It's as simple as that. Writing helps you think better, helps you process your ideas, your opinions, your thoughts better. In that sense, you think more effectively. And if you think more effectively, you can communicate in a more effective manner, both in speech and in written form. So that's why writing is your superpower, learning to write well. If you want to be a great communicator, don't neglect, don't disregard the power of writing. It's not just about career goals or impressing other people. Writing, of course, is also a fantastic way to boost your own language learning, because when you write in English, you're actively using grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structures. By doing this, it solidifies the knowledge you've already acquired of the language. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Thiago, writing is so hard. Yes, I know, it can be challenging. And actually, writing is the number one skill, I think, that most of my students struggle with, especially when they take proficiency exams. Usually when they take proficiency exams, the writing score tends to be the lowest score out of the speaking, the listening, the reading, and the other skills. But with a few tips that I'm going to be giving you here, and with practice, you can improve your writing skills. All right? First tip to write better: read, read, read. The more you read in English, the more you'll naturally absorb the rhythms, vocabulary, and structures of the language. This will make your own writing flow more smoothly. Of course. The second tip, kind of connected to that, is write. Write every day. Even if it's just a few sentences in a journal or a quick social media post, make writing a daily habit. The more you practice, the easier it will become. For example, you can set aside 15 minutes each morning to write about your dreams or goals for the day. You can start there. We call this journaling. When you start writing about your day, your goals, or even your life ambitions, that's journaling. Okay? This actually reminds me of a really nice book. I have it here by Stephen King. This one right here called On Writing. Okay? It's a really nice book, guys. I think I read this book in like 3 days. I devoured this book because it's so nice to read it. It flows so well. You know, Stephen King is awesome. I love him. But anyway, he has this section here in this book where he talks specifically about writers, and he gives tips to people who want to be better writers. Listen, I'm going to read this for you. If you want to be a writer, you must do 2 things above all others: read a lot and write a lot. There is no way around these 2 things that I am aware of. No shortcut. I'm a slow reader, but I usually get through 70 or 80 books a year, mostly fiction. I don't read in order to study the craft. I read because I like to read. It's what I do at night, kick back in my blue chair. Similarly, I don't read fiction to study the art of fiction, but simply because I like stories. Yet, there is a learning process going on. Every book you pick up has its own lesson or lessons, and quite often the bad books have more to teach than the good ones. All right? Really nice. So basically, he's saying that you have to read a lot if you want to be a very good writer, okay? Because even though you are not reading to study the art or the craft of writing, you are still learning, especially from the bad books, he says, right? But you can also learn from good books, okay? Next tip, get feedback when you're writing. This is when I believe that having a teacher or a tutor can be invaluable, because you can write many pieces of text, send them to your teacher, and he can read, he can go through it, and point out grammar mistakes, vocabulary problems, or lack of cohesiveness here and there, or maybe how a paragraph could have been better structured or organized. All right, so get feedback on your writing. If you can't afford a teacher or a tutor, ask a friend or someone else who also knows English to read your text for you and give you feedback. Next tip, use technology in your favor. Nowadays, we have some really nice resources that can help you write better. For example, you can use a grammar checker like Grammarly. You can run your text through Grammarly, and Grammarly will point out spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes you make. Or you can use AI tools like Gemini, Bing, or ChatGPT. Simply paste your text there and then ask the tool to give you feedback on that text, pointing out the mistakes. The great thing about these tools is that not only do they give you the correct version of your text, but they also point out exactly what the mistakes were and how the correction was made. You can also use a website by Cambridge called Write and Improve. I believe this website also runs on AI, and it's really cool. You go there, you create your free account, you log in, and then you can choose what kind of text you want to practice today. A report, an email, a letter, an essay. You write your piece of text on the website, and when you submit it, you get instant feedback. That is really cool. So use technology in your favor. Next tip, plan your writing. Before you start writing, take a few minutes to brainstorm ideas and create an outline. This will help you organize your thoughts and stay on track. For example, you can use a mind map or even simple bullet points to list the main ideas you want to cover in that piece of text. So this is best practice, guys. Always dedicate the first 5 or 10 minutes to brainstorm an outline, to create an outline. What are the main points I want to cover in this essay, for example, or in this email? What are the main points? Then, once you decide what the main points are, think about the order. What is the most logical order for me to present these points? Then you can also brainstorm possible supporting details or arguments that you could use for each of those points. But do spend 5 to 10 minutes at least brainstorming and creating your outline. The more complex the text is, or the longer it is, maybe even the longer you should spend at this stage, maybe even 15 or 20 minutes. But if you don't have much time, spend at least 5 minutes outlining your text before writing it down. Also, keep it simple. Don't try to impress with fancy vocabulary or complex sentence structures. I know that I'm all about advanced English and helping you communicate with more sophistication. That's great. But I look at advanced English, guys, as spice. It's the spice on the food. Yeah? It's very nice for you to know a more sophisticated word or grammar structure to use in a situation sporadically to give that spice to your speech or to your text in this case. But if you use too much spice, what happens to the food? It spoils the food. Now the food is not that good anymore. Okay? So don't feel this pressure to use extremely advanced vocabulary and language all the time when you write in English. As a matter of fact, the more clear, concise, and direct you can be, the better. And then you can just sprinkle in a nice word here, a more advanced word there, and some nice advanced structures, okay? But use it with taste. Next tip, focus on your audience. Who are you writing to, or who are you writing for? Think about your target reader, and then tailor your language and style accordingly. For example, if you have to write a letter or an email to a friend, it's okay to use more informal language. But if you are writing something that is more professional for work, you might want to be a little bit more formal. That's why it's also important for you to know the difference between formal register and informal register when writing. As a matter of fact, I made a video about this topic a few years ago here on the channel. It's a little bit of an old video, but there are some nice tips there on formal English versus informal English for writing. I'm going to link it here in the description so you can watch it later, okay? Next tip, revise and edit your text. Don't be afraid to revise and edit your work multiple times. Even professional writers go through several drafts before their writing is ready. For example, after finishing your first draft, you can take a break, then come back with fresh eyes to revise and polish your work. This is really important. Every professional writer does this, and they advocate for this as well. They say that you should write a bad first draft, period. If you have to write something, start with a bad first draft. So don't worry so much about writing the perfect text from the get-go, but just put your thoughts down on paper or on a Google Doc. No pressure, no judgment. Just transfer what is up here to the doc or to the paper. No judgment. Chances are your first draft is going to come out terrible. Probably it will come out terrible, and you're going to have to delete a huge part of it, a huge chunk of it, or most of it. But now you have something to work with, okay? I think one of the most terrifying things for people is to have a blank page or a blank screen. You look at that blank screen and you go, man, I have to write something, but I have no idea what to write, So take off the pressure, just put down your thoughts, because at least you will have something to work with later. When we write something, we are usually too close to it. So it's always a great idea for you to take a step back after and let it breathe, let it rest a little bit. If you have time, leave it for some days or weeks, and then you come back later to review your written work. But if you don't have time, for example, maybe you are taking a proficiency exam in English and you don't have much time, what I would recommend is, if you have 40 minutes to write your essay, try to finish it in 25 or 30 minutes tops. Leave those last 5 or 10 minutes to review and to edit your work. This is extremely important. When you revise your piece of text like that, it's like you are looking at the whole forest. Before, when you are writing the words, it's like we're just chopping wood like crazy. Yeah? But then, when it's time to revise, it's like looking at the whole forest. And then you will see if it's a good-looking forest or if it's a terrible-looking forest. Some extra tips here. Of course, expand your vocabulary. Learn new words and phrases to express yourself more precisely. For example, instead of always saying good, why not saying excellent, outstanding, remarkable? I've made an episode about this here on the show and on the channel. If you guys want, you can watch it again. I list, I think, 40 words that are more advanced instead of good, bad, nice, and interesting. I'm going to leave it in the description as well and in the show notes for you to check out later. But do expand your vocabulary. Another great tip, vary your sentence structure. By that I mean, use a mix of simple and complex sentences, short sentences and long sentences. This actually reminds me of a post that I found online a few years ago, but it is a really nice paragraph that illustrates well the importance of varying your sentence length. I'm going to read it for you, and I think you're going to know what I mean. So listen. This sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a struck record. The ear demands some variety. Now listen. I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing sings. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lilt, a harmony. I use short sentences, and I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes, when I am certain the reader is rested, I will engage him with a sentence of considerable length, a sentence that burns with energy and builds with all the impetus of a crescendo, the roll of the drums, the crash of the cymbals, sounds that say, listen to this. it is important. You see, so the way this paragraph starts off is really boring, really monotonous, because it's all about short sentences. But then we start to vary 2-word sentences, 3-word sentences, 1-word sentence, and then a medium length sentence, and then finally a long sentence. You see, by the end, it becomes much more interesting for the person who is reading your text and listening to what you have to say. All right? So vary the complexity of your sentences. Also, another tip, experiment with different styles. Write a short story, a persuasive essay on a topic you care about, or even a product review. So try to write different pieces of text. Again, write a review on Amazon. Write a blog post. Write an essay on a topic you care about. Write a short story. Why not? Get your creative writing juices flowing. Okay? And finally, you can always join a writing group. You can connect with other English learners who share your passion for writing. You can share your work, get feedback, and learn from each other. Not just English learners, maybe communities for writers in general, people who like to write, or people who like to write stories or read. Find communities online on these topics and join them. It's a great way for you to improve. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you found these writing tips useful. Don't forget to check out my newest pronunciation course. It's already available on pre-sale. Link in the description and in the comment section below, and also in the show notes. And of course, guys, subscribe to the channel, follow the show so you don't miss a single new video. If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give me a 5-star review there because it helps me a lot on those platforms as well. I'll be talking to you very soon, and I'm signing off. Bye-bye.